Welcome. It's time for the Pulling Each Other Along show at the 104.1 River West Radio. And we've got Dave Clark, Doug Cornfield, and Dave Geis, although it looks like we might be having some issues with Dave Clark, so we'll see if he gets on the radio show today. We have a very, very special guest, and we'll be bringing her on in just a moment. Let me see. So welcome, Wisconsin. Welcome, Milwaukee. Dave Geis, how are you doing? Let's start with you.
All right.
And I think I can actually pull in the big man, too. We've got Dave Clark. Dave Clark, there you are. If your audio, at least say hi to Milwaukee.
All right, Milwaukee.
There we go.
There we go.
Wow,
we got Dave Clark on Milwaukee. Very good. So, we always start with what's the weather in Milwaukee? What do you got there going?
Well, you know what? We had an inch or so of snow 2 days ago, and then it's gone. It's already gone. So it's around 40s, but very windy where I'm at. But winter's still trying to hang on, but not a problem. It's almost spring.
Very good. No, it was. I finally got back from Florida. Did a trip to Wisconsin.
You did what?
Not to Wisconsin, to Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's
so
close.
I was in Oklahoma City, and I'm just going to do a shout out right away to my son Jared. I have a son who is a coach of Northern Arizona University, and it's not often that you have a child that's a part of a national championship. And believe it or not, this is their 4th out of 5 years for the national cross country championships at the highest level in college. And so shout out to my son Jared, and it was we didn't even know if we'd be able to go, and we were able to get there. They were able to spectate, and so I was able to get out and spend some time with him and watch the team and all those good things. So congratulations!
You said it's the 4th out of 5. Was he part of that
the whole time? He's
really?
He's been there for 6 seasons, I guess. He started off as a grad assistant. Then was an assistant coach, and still is an assistant coach. And to be 29 years old and to have 4 national championships under your belt already is
that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Dave Clark, I know you're in Sarasota traveling today, so
I am.
You're in a hotel where the internet doesn't seem to be as great.
Is it okay now?
No, it's still pretty rough.
I'll just hear my pretty face.
There you go. I'm gonna mute you for a second. We'll bring you on when we have a question for you. You can smile a lot. How's that? So
it's blinding.
His blinding smile. That's all.
There it is.
There it is for those of you on Facebook. You can see Dave's blinding smile. If you haven't seen Dave's blinding smile, go to our Facebook page at D3Day and see that blinding smile when you rewatch the video. So. Anyway, Dave Geis, another great guest. I know you were able to read her story with the coming book, Pulling Each Other Along. I've got Amanda Kloo coming on. So welcome, Amanda.
Hello, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Dave Clark, Dave Geis, Doug Cornfield, I guess, Pulling Each Other Along show. And we're just really glad to have you, and we want to find out about your story, about your life on the 104.1 River West Radio.
Yes.
So why? Well, let's just ask the big question. And I should have prepped you for this in the first part, and I think I did in the email I sent out. But let's just start with the big question and get it out of the way. What is the one person or thing that you can point to that has pulled you along in your life?
Well, I knew you were going to ask that given the theme of the show and what it is that you had sent in your email. And I've been thinking about it ever since. And what it is that you know about me and that I want to share with folks is that it's hard for me to zero in on that one person or that one thing, because I really owe my entire life experience and the success and all of the pits and valleys and highs and lows that I've had in my life to multiple people. I am the product of many, many angels and guardian angels, and inspiration and motivation in my life coming from those that have surrounded me. And it really starts with the love and belief that my parents and my family had for me. I would not be alive without them fighting for me and fighting for my health and my wellness, and fighting against the doctors who didn't believe that I should exist. So that's really the very beginning of my my journey, and the angels that pulled me into this life. And then I've been positively impacted by others and pulled along at every stage of my journey by kids, by adults, by really everyone around me. So it's not just one person; it's a whole community.
Well, let's go back to those early days. Tell us a little bit about your early struggles.
So I have cerebral palsy, and the CP was contracted when I was born prematurely. So I was born very early, over 3 months premature, and I died during birth. I was born in a time in our country. I'm older. I'm in my mid 40s. So there weren't as many resources or supports for premature birth. I grew up in a small town in Western Pennsylvania, and I did die during labor. And it was thanks to an emergency room nurse who revived me. My parents were sent home, told to go home, because the doctors did believe that I had died, and then when I was revived, that I would not survive, and that if I did survive, that I would have significant issues and multiple disabilities. So my parents were encouraged to go home and have another baby. And then they were given the choice of, do you want her? We know she's going to have disabilities. What's your plan? And immediately my family said, yes, we're going to do anything and everything we can. She's our daughter. This is our family. This is God's plan. She has guardian angels, so we will figure it out. And that really is the beginning of my life story, because from my parents' fight for me, and growing up with two brothers who really literally had to pull me along in school. They did have to carry me from floor to floor for classes in my high school, because my high school was not accessible. And just like any other siblings, when we would fight, they would leave me places. So instead of carrying me to class, they would leave me in the band room, or leave me in the choral room, or take me somewhere where it is that I wasn't supposed to be. And they were really the ones who, through their strength and their dedication, I began to see what it is that was possible through the love of family and them carving that path.
Great, great. So, the chapter, it was interesting when I did the chapter with you, and you actually submitted most of that. I think we might have made a few changes or whatever, but really it was your writing in this case, and it was a beautiful thing. I guess I'm not Amanda Kloo, so for those on Facebook, I'm going to pull that off. And so we had a big long title, and then we pulled it down to Angel Duck, I believe is the name of the chapter. Just kind of in a whatever way you want to do it, why did we call your chapter Angel Duck?
Angel Duck. Well, as I had mentioned, I believe very strongly in the fact that I think angels and guardian angels have had an impact on my life. And so I can identify an angel at each stage of my life who has been part of the story, who has pulled me along, who has helped to carve a path in my journey that I'm able to pay great things forward to other people. So I can identify the angels who have touched me. And the duck comes from an experience that I had in my early teaching career. I was doing an assembly presentation to an elementary school, talking about disability and the power of difference and the value of difference, and how it is that we can celebrate and recognize those things in each other, and how important they are to health and wellness, etc. And I opened up to audience questions and said, who would like to ask me something? Ask me anything. Now, the teacher brain in me immediately knew that that was dangerous, because I just opened up to 500 elementary schoolers the path of ask me anything and let's see how this goes.
Right.
So one little boy in the audience picked up the microphone and came up to the stage. And I'm sitting there with a smile on my face in front of all of the kids and faculty. And he asked into the microphone, "So how come you walk like a duck?" And immediately his teacher pulled the microphone away, apologized, said, "That's not okay. We don't ask those kinds of questions." And I realized how beautiful and how pure, how curious and how innocent that question was.
Right.
Purely having an interest in what is wrong with her? Why does she look different? What is her difference? Tell me about her disability, etc. And so I said to the little boy, I said, no, that's okay. I do walk like a duck. And I do walk like a duck. I can't walk around right now where it is that I am. But if you were to see me move, I walk like a duck. And so it brought up a really beautiful conversation and connection with the most amazing little human beings on the planet, kids, about what it is that disability means and how it is that we can identify and talk about and embrace difference. So I say that my path and my journey is really influenced by angels and ducks.
Well, that makes complete sense, and I just want to take a quick break here and remind everybody we are on the 104.1 River West Radio, and this is the Pulling Each Other Along show. We have special guest Amanda Kloo, who's got an amazing story, even though was I guess born with CP in your case, correct, Amanda?
Correct, yes.
But she's done some amazing things, and we're just happy to have her on the show, on the Pulling Each Other Along show. And I wanted to take just a moment because there was a significant event for those of us that work in the disability world this basically yesterday. We talked about this man on our show, Dick Hoyt, just a little bit ago. Dave Clark and I and Dave Stevens, we were able to be a part of honoring this man just less than a year ago on a big tribute video that you can find on YouTube. But Dick Hoyt passed away yesterday, and it's a he wasn't pulling each other along, but he was pushing obviously his son along and pushing each other along, and he pushed a lot of people along. And we want to send out our condolences to the Hoyts, the Hoyt family, the Hoyt organization, and everybody involved. If you're not familiar with the Dick and Rick Hoyt story, it's an amazing father-son duo of running triathlons, marathons, 5Ks, all sorts of races for many, many, many years. I believe he's won the ESPY Awards, and he's been honored by ESPN and many others. But Dick Hoyt passed away yesterday. And while I'm mentioning that, on Facebook Live, if you for anybody that's out there that wants to join us, we're going to do a special edition Pulling Each Other Along show, or actually a Pushing Each Other Along show on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And so, again, condolences out to the Hoyts. And I know, Amanda, I know you're familiar with Dick and Rick Hoyt, and had you ever met them or been a part of their journey in any sort of way?
Only interactions through a variety of exercise or health and fitness or sport events, but never had the pleasure of interacting with them personally. But they really were the motivators and the path makers in the world of promoting inclusive sport and promoting adaptive health and fitness. And so I'm deeply saddened by the news, and my heart goes out to friends and family there.
Right, because he certainly, somebody that I've known of for a long, long time, and of course their story is one of the stories in our Pulling Each Other Along book, and it's going to be sad to have half of the team of the Hoyt team missing when that book comes out, but still honored that he is a part of that whole book, and actually we're going to probably make some quick changes before the book gets final printed during this edit. So anyway, now I just showed a picture for those on Facebook and YouTube, and it's a picture of you, Amanda.
It is a picture,
here?
yes.
And what are we competing in, and why is there such excitement and exuberance on your face?
Excitement and exuberance, there are a few words for it. You could also say pain and screaming with emotion. That picture was from what's called the Wadapalooza Fitness Festival. Wadapalooza is an annual event that is held in Miami, Florida. And it is a fully inclusive CrossFit style event. So CrossFit is the sport of functional fitness, which means it combines a high intensity variable fitness activities, including Olympic weightlifting, including aerobic activities, strength-based activities, gymnastic activities, you name it. If it is a modality or a domain of fitness. CrossFit draws on that test of your maximum ability. And they combine all of those modes of fitness into high intensity workouts as tests of athlete skill. And I am lucky enough to be an adaptive CrossFitter, so a CrossFitter who has a permanent disability, and was one that qualified to compete in the finals at the Wadapalooza Fitness Festival. And that was an event where it is that it was a very long workout, a long test. There are anywhere from 5 to 15 tests of fitness across multiple days in Miami or similar CrossFit events. And that one happened to be a really long workout of those multiple workouts. And it ended with multiple overhead weightlifting lifts. And that was the very last rep, a few seconds before the end of the workout, for me to complete that workout and finish and run to the finish line.
Very good, very good. Now, what kind of sports and things have you competed in?
That is it. I am only an adaptive CrossFitter. That is my skill. That is my athletic pursuit. That is my athletic passion. I had no previous athletic experience at all, or athletic interest prior to training in functional fitness. As a matter of fact, I focused all of my life in school and recreation pursuits on things that enhanced my learning. So things related to school, things related to the creative arts, things related to the sciences, but physical skill was not one of them, simply because I didn't believe that I could. Having cerebral palsy really limited the way it is that I interacted with the world physically. As I grew as an adult and had fewer and fewer services and supports through the healthcare system or through the medical system, I really let my physical health decline. I became very overweight. At one point, I was over 230 pounds. And I really focused in on the health of my mind, not the health of my body, but realized that that was slowly killing me. That was taking a toll on my spirit. That was taking a toll on my health. It was taking a toll on my emotions and my family, and starting to take a toll on my work and my teaching. So I started the pursuit of finding ways to become physically fit and exercise, and found that there were a lot of barriers for individuals who have disabilities in community exercise and fitness centers. And I couldn't find the right outlet for myself because I wasn't a sport-specific athlete. There were lots of chances for adaptive sport for me to become involved in, but I had no interest or passion or experience in those until I found a gym that was willing to help me figure out how to pursue functional fitness and CrossFit style work as an adaptive athlete. And so that's where my heart and soul lies in the fitness world.
So how has that led you to what you do today? Because obviously now you're a big part of fitness, even though that wasn't your world, even not too far, too long ago.
Yes. So my professional and personal background is in teaching. I am a teacher, heart and soul. My background is in classroom teaching and in special education. And so I've always had a passion in working with children who have disabilities and extraordinary abilities. And I found a need to bring what it is that I knew about the disabled experience into what it is that I was learning about the physical health and physical fitness experience, and working with through amazing experts in the field of inclusive recreation. That means including individuals with disabilities in sport, in community experiences, in recreation, in hobbies, etc. I was able to develop a community service program called Project Momentum Fitness. And that led me to becoming connected to an amazing nonprofit organization called the National Inclusion Project. And the National Inclusion Project focuses in on creating inclusive recreation opportunities for kids like me who had disabilities, kids who needed something else or were interested in something else, whether that was inclusive camps, or it was inclusive sport teams, or it was inclusive creative arts experiences, or creative community experiences. However it is that we could figure out ways to support children's out of school time by creating opportunities for kids who have disabilities to connect with kids who do not, and learn, play, grow, move, and thrive together.
Right, which is for those that are watching live on Facebook. I see this picture here that I pulled off of your. No, it's a picture you actually sent me, I think, for the book. And it looks like you're working with. Are these all special needs children in some way or another, or is it inclusive of many children?
It's inclusive of many children. So this was a photo from a local fundraising event to support the inclusive recreation needs of children with disabilities, but welcomed athletes of all abilities, and athletes who had disabilities, athletes who did not, and children, and had them do the same workout, but in their own ways. So the same thing, with different modes of access or different ways to execute. So that was me working out with some of the kids who have special needs, doing that workout with them, where it is that some were able to complete the movements from their knees, some were able to do it standing, some from their wheelchairs, some on the ground, etc. So there is an entry point for everyone to find ways to play and move and be healthy.
Right. Well, I know our Mr. Clark has a lot to say about that. Let's see if we can pull Mr. Clark in. And you're not Amanda Kloo either, so let me pull that off the screen. Let's see if we can hear you. Because obviously, with what we do with disability baseball camps and sports camps, and of course your great story of adapting, what would some of the questions you would have for Amanda today, Mr. Clark?
Well, I hope you can hear me, first of all. I know we're having a little bit of trouble with my internet tonight, but I had the privilege of meeting Amanda back, I believe it was like October of 2019. Is that correct?
Yes.
In Hickory,
that's correct.
North Carolina. In Hickory, North Carolina. I'm very impressed. And one of the things in reading your chapter that stood out to me was the part of the story you were telling. You didn't feel any different until you were able to view yourself doing things, and suddenly you realized you were doing it a different way. And I can relate to that so much, because as a pitcher, baseball player, athlete, the way I did things to me felt like it was just like any other player. I assumed that I looked like every other player doing the same thing that I was doing. But again, when I was able to view myself again, I suddenly realized too that I accomplished things differently. But you make a great point when you say, this fella did it this way, this one did it this way. this one did it this way. They all did it. They all accomplished that. A question.
Yes.
I know. I didn't feel any different until I got to school. And when I got to school, I walked differently. I accomplished things in a different manner, and I was bullied because of it. My question to you is, now you talk about the little boy talk and why you walk like a duck. Did you experience any kind of bullying during your young years going through school?
Oh, absolutely. Daily, aggressively. School and life was not friendly to me. One of the things that that I really relied on and clung to was the love and care of my family. Because very similar to the way you describe it, my abnormal was our normal. That was simply the way it is that my family functioned. I am the middle sister between two brothers, so we're all 1 year apart, almost exactly. And we were each other's playmates. They were my protection, and so I didn't realize how different I was until seeing myself actually on video. Yes, we're old. We see ourselves on video. And it wasn't until that moment, it was about third grade, where it is that I realized that the way that I did things, the way that I accomplished tasks, the way that I walked or moved or spoke wasn't the same as everyone else. That's when that line was drawn for me. And I realized, oh my gosh, this isn't this empowering thing that brings my family together. This is actually a dividing thing that keeps me separate from everyone else. And bullying was very real. I experienced a lot of social difficulty, especially growing up a young girl with a physical disability and dealing with all of the emotional and body image and social things that young women have to shoulder. It was a very different experience. And the thing that really got me through is I had my family, and I was lucky enough to have one good friend. And having that one best friend, that one person in my corner, made the rest of all of the social difficulty a little more manageable. And knowing that I had a person was what it is that really pulled me through. And knowing then, too, that I had a teacher who was in my corner. Because sometimes adults are just as mean as children, because we don't know how to process difference. And so bullying is very real. And I want all the kids out there, like us, like me, to know that you need to have that person. And whoever that person is, it just makes everything better. And it does get better from here. Because now I do realize that the bullying came from places of curiosity. The bullying came from places of ignorance. The bullying came from places of insecurity. And as a teacher and as an educator now, I can use that to understand how to intervene and help support in those situations. Because in reality, those bullies really were more disabled than I ever really was, right?
Absolutely.
That is correct. And we are running down on our live broadcast. We have about 30 seconds left. This has been the 104.1 River West Radio Show, live to Milwaukee. Dave Clark, Dave Geis, special guest Amanda Kloo. Thank you so much for joining us. She is the Director of Inclusive Recreation and part of the National Inclusion Project. Thank you, Amanda, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be resuming in just a minute our Facebook Live after program. And Amanda, while I turn down the music here and just come back to Facebook Live, let me see here. We've got there was a picture you sent me. Let me see if I can pull this up. There was a picture you sent me because you're from Pennsylvania originally, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and what part of PA again?
I am from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. It's Western PA, about an hour outside of Pittsburgh.
And you sent me this picture.
Yes.
Now,
Yes. I bleed black and gold, guys. Sorry.
you bleed black and gold, but I'm on the eastern side of PA, and basically, I'm a born and raised Eagles fan.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
sorry.
I married a guy from Bethlehem. So fortunately, once the Bethlehem guy married the Pittsburgh girl, he's come over my direction for the Steelers, and even my kids who are born here in Charlotte, North Carolina, even my kids are Steelers fans because it just got to be.
Wow.
So who would you say is your all-time favorite Steeler of all time?
Oh, Terry Bradshaw, hands down. Terry Bradshaw.
Right, well, I don't know if that was the right answer tonight.
Of course not.
Because I knew it was going to be your answer.
That's
But
right.
But what we did to you is we set you up a little bit.
Hey,
And
Amanda.
Hi.
That's right. Hey, Doug. Don't
somebody
worry.
online today. Rocky, introduce yourself to Amanda.
Yes, hi, Amanda. I'm Rocky Blyer. Don't
Yes,
worry
you
about
are.
Bradshaw. I'm talking to Bradshaw. He said, Cornfield, I'm not doing anything for Cornfield.
That's right. That's pretty much what we said.
No.
So,
Dave, how are you doing?
Good.
Dave Clark, good to see you again. Dave,
See you, Rocky.
that's right. Yeah, same here. So I caught the end of the podcast. So it was nice, and David called and said, "You got to say hi to Amanda, and with all the good stuff that she's doing, and so on." And so yeah,
She's speechless. Can't believe it.
yeah, that's right. Maybe we should have got it. We've done this earlier. So anyway,
So for me to be for a loss of words is a big thing. I'm not even sure what to say right now, other than can we rewind and I change my answer and I can.
or you only get one shot.
It's worth it. I still have the picture. I still have it up there.
But Amanda, don't worry about it. He's my favorite player too. So that's why I tell everybody that, and so on. And
Except when Franco's on the show, then you tell everybody it's Franco.
no, it's Bradshaw. No, so it's just because Bradshaw gave me the ball. See, Franco never gave me the ball. He wanted it himself. So that's always that makes a difference. So anyway, that was it. But there were some great memories, of course, back through that period of time in the '70s when we all got together and winning those Super Bowls. And time goes on and on and on and on. But it's great to have fans, no matter where and who they root for. That they're a great part of our American system and sports. And so, if you're a Steeler fan, well, that's a plus. So, thank you, Amanda, for doing that and being on the show and making Doug sound intelligent.
There you go.
That's difficult.
That's pretty
Really hard
I'm
to
a
do,
Georgia
Rocky.
Bulldog from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, well, thank you, Rocky, for joining
Hey,
us.
you're welcome. I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself. Good to see you, Dave, and
See you, Rocky.
Amanda. Well,
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. It's so
All right,
great to
see you,
see
Rocky.
you.
We're helping.
Oh my goodness.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness. How many colors of red am I right now? Oh my gosh.
That's great. Thought that was perfect.
That was pretty fun. So, no, he was
good.
to get Rocky willing to do that. And for those that you are listening to the Pulling Each Other Along show after show from our 104.1 River West radio show, Rocky is agreed and is a part of the Pulling Each Other Along book. And I'd reached out to him. He was the first person I reached out to be honest. And I never had a sales thing go so easy. I left a message on his cell phone. He called me back that morning and said, "Doug, I'm in. I want to do it." And he wanted to be a part of the book and his story. Because I asked him, I said, a lot of people know Rocky's story. They've made a movie about it. But I wanted him to kind of focus on what pulled him along in this chapter. and he gave us some bone-chilling information. So very pleased that Rocky was able to say hi to a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Amanda.
Oh my goodness, I have chills right now.
I have to tell you, Amanda, I am a Baltimore Colt, Baltimore Raven fan.
Ooh,
So that
I thought we were friends, man.
I've been since I was a little kid, and Rocky even still accepts me as his friend. About that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool. Dave, guys, I didn't pull you into the radio because, like Amanda announced to us, she could talk to the wall and keep going. And so it was great because we got to sit back and just listen to your story today. Dave, any questions that you have, since my other Dave's audio is still not doing so great?
You know, I got the opportunity to read your chapter, and you know, I found it interesting that you mentioned the first time that, like Dave was talking about earlier, the first time you'd seen yourself on video, and how enlightening it was to you. But then I found really interesting that I think it was what, 8th grade, your teacher got you into theater.
Yeah.
So that must have been, I mean, how was that experience? Basically knowing how you looked to yourself anyways on video, and then getting yourself right back on there on the stage.
It was transformative, and that really was because she believed even when I didn't. She truly believed and created an opportunity where it is that I had no choice but to succeed, right? And it was extraordinary to me to learn from her how to take all of the best parts of myself and maximize them, use them to my advantage, and create good from the things that I thought were broken, or the things that I thought weren't good, and how it is then that I could create something through artistic expression and creative expression, and learning to speak more clearly, and for me to gain control of a body that I started to feel was uncontrollable, so that then I could embody characters and of all things perform Shakespeare,
Right.
and to, by her creating the opportunity where it is that she saw that what it is that I was doing was I was pulling away from people, and her creating a chance to say, you have to get in front of them. Okay,
Sure.
we're going to make it safe for you to feel like you can be on stage in front of them. And then creating that awareness in me of, wow, you know, this really is me, and this is a beautiful, transformative, extraordinary thing. I owe her probably every ounce of success that I've had with teaching and speaking to people and teaching my students and moving around my classrooms, and everything that I can do in terms of communication and embodiment is because she gave me that one opportunity. Again, I think it comes down to those singular people, those angels, the doors that they open, the windows that they open for us, because it really just takes one chance.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like that was a key moment. It sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice.
Very good. So so we had some chatters out here. Somebody thought you were starstruck. I'm not exactly sure who that one was because it's coming up. And then there's somebody that calls you Doc.
Yes.
So is that a typical nickname for you, Doc?
That is a typical nickname for me. So I have my PhD. I was a college professor, and when I started in the fitness realm, so working out in gyms, you know, everybody has a nickname, right? And so different coaches and different athletes started calling me Doc instead of Amanda, and it kind of stuck. And so Casey's one of our big supporters of National Inclusion Project, and she is also a huge supporter of mine. And so she calls me Doc, and everybody within that realm just knows me that way.
And
That's
it
cool.
sounds like somebody thought you were starstruck. And we have a Bills fan, of course. Rusty's listening to us live, one of our faithful fans. There you go.
Our faithful listeners.
Some of our faithful listeners are on tonight as well. So anyway, any parting words, Amanda? Any other questions, Dave Clark, Dave Geis, that we want to draw out of Amanda tonight?
Well, we got to ask her the most important question of the
Oh
week.
yeah, we do. Go ahead.
All right, Amanda.
Yes.
What is your favorite donut?
My favorite donut? Dude, I lost almost 170 pounds. I don't eat donuts.
Good answer. Good answer.
But if I were to eat a donut, if I would have a day where it is that I would say, you know what, I'm just going to double down and eat the donut, and I'll work it off later, which actually doesn't happen for anyone that's pursuing weight loss. It would be something with chocolate and peanut butter. I'm a huge fan of chocolate and peanut butter together. That's a big craving of mine. So salty sweet.
I've never heard of a peanut butter donut, but I guess why not?
Oh, man,
You know, shove some Reese's Pieces and Reese's peanut butter cups in there, and I'd go for it.
It works.
Uh-oh.
It works.
I'd probably have to make it out of cauliflower or something, though, man. You know, I don't know if they make paleo donuts. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Somebody probably does, or there's something out there. Who knows? And so anyway, glad we were able to spoof you with Rocky Blyers. And I almost blew it because I told you that he was going to be on the Zoom.
The Zoom.
And but because he's part of our chapter. Did I ever send you that chapter? I can't remember if I ever sent you his chapter.
No, I haven't seen his.
Okay, because I know I've sent it to a few people, getting thoughts from different chapters that are out there. But Rocky's been such a trooper in this, and obviously helping me to get Terry Bradshaw to agree to do the forward. And
I know that too. Do you see me? Do you see how it is that I'm so excited about that?
It's pretty fun. I mean, I don't know who could be better, to be honest.
Oh no, never mind.
So having Terry Bradshaw part of that, unless we get Colgate.
It looks like that's already been done.
We need to get Colgate.
Is that your picture, Dave? Please destroy that.
It's too late. I have it.
He's already got it.
I have it. So
don't worry, mine's blown up to a 20 by 40, so it's all right.
Right. I meant to show this. I never showed that other one. There's the Rocky.
There he is.
Against
best colors in the world, right there, people. Best colors in the world.
I don't see any orange and blue.
Yeah. There's red. There's red and black over here. The Disability Channel, who broadcasts our show. They rebroadcast and things. So and then so that red and black, that's a better color. That's your Georgia Bulldogs.
No, orange and blue. Go to Denver.
There you go. Well, Amanda, it's been a pleasure. And just as a reminder too, we're going to do a special edition. Pulling each other along, or in this case, pushing each other along show on Tuesday at 7:30. We're going to have a special guest that has been a couple of special guests that have been very involved with the Hoyts throughout the many, many years of Rick and Dick Hoyt pushing each other along. But today it's been episode 12 with Amanda Kloo, Dr. Amanda Kloo, and her journey from CP, getting hugely out of shape, back into shape, and as a mother, a teacher, doctor, part of the National Inclusion Project, and we are very, very glad that you joined us. So with that, let's end our stream on Facebook. Thanks for all those who've joined us tonight. Dave Clark, we need to get you in a better internet next week, but I'm sure we will. And have fun in Sarasota, have fun in Milwaukee, and stay safe in North Carolina with all those storms, Amanda, that we thought might impede the show as well today. So let's give our wave goodbye. And it's been great. And this has been the Pulling Each Other Along show with Dave Geis, Dave Clark, Doug Cornfield, and special guest, Amanda Kloo.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.